So we got a few people here, and the rest of the people can go ahead and watch it on replay if I can figure that portion out. There is a new alcohol marker that it will be arriving in about July, or shipping in about July. And I have had the opportunity to try a prototype. And I know that this is worth getting into your hands, or the information into your brains now versus waiting until the actual release, because you guys can get this on a pre-order at a awesome rate. So I figured I would show it to you now versus waiting, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it for as much information and knowledge that I have, and we will go from there. So it's called an OLO marker, and it is something that you can customize yourself. So for the markers that we've had in the past, a lot of them have two ends, a chisel end and a brush tip, but some of us don't utilize that chisel tip as much as the other end. So you can actually now purchase it with a brush tip and a brush tip. So that's nice. You can also get it where it's just a brush tip and has what would be a handle. So we've got a handle here. And so all these are put together with a little connector. So you can customize it how you want it. I have a couple sheets here that show a little bit of information, but before I get there, I want you to know that currently at this time there are going to be 128 colors released. This is a great amount of colors with blending sets in them, and at some point these colors will most likely be expanded, but this covers everything to get you started. Or you can start with smaller sets if you want to try them before you get the full set. I personally placed an order for the full set, of course, right? Because there's a special deal, it's called the Platinum deal. And with this deal, you are getting all the colors with two ends. You're also getting a special discount on the website for reordering, and you get a handful of the handles, and there's some other things. So I will make sure I give you that link so you can look up all the different levels of ordering for this pre-order. And then when they come in, they are going to be shipping in July according to the website. Some of this information, or most of this information, I grabbed off the website so I can show you on camera. But an OLO marker is comprised of the cartridge. You remove the little cap off the cartridge. You put the nib in. The nib soaks up, so that would be considered one side. As I said before, you can take that one side, and if you just want a one-sided marker, you just put the handle on it, okay, connected by the connector. If you are interested in doing the two-sided, you can choose the chisel with the connector and a brush, or you can do a brush or a chisel, and then you have your lid. Okay, so that is kind of how it goes together. All right, so that is the basic concept. The different things that you can order are right here. So you've got the brush, you've got the chisel, and then you've got the one that is considered what they have a different word for it, the OLO Zero. Okay, and this is essentially what people who have used other markers before would refer to as a blender. but this is OLO 0, which is colorless solution for diluting the color, adding the texture, and for fixing mistakes. Okay. Also, you will notice possibly the brush ones come with a black, what I call the cartridge or the container. The chisel come with a dark gray, and the OLO 0 is in white. Now what's cool about this is you just assemble them. You know, maybe you want the OLO 0 on the other end of a brush marker. Well, with that little connector, you can go ahead and put those together. By doing that, it makes a nice hand hold for the marker. But if you choose differently, you can go ahead and use the handle instead. So you don't have to buy a handle for every marker. You can do the same color on either end, or you can do different colors on either end. All right, any questions on that so far? So if you have a question, I'll keep on trying to monitor my other screen. So the owner of the OLO Marker, the person who designed this, they looked at all the different markers that were out there, took the negatives, the positives, all that kind of stuff, and they put it together. They put it together so that it is very cost effective. You utilize over 90% of the ink in the marker compared to like 65 to 70 in your other traditional markers. So it's 2 times more usable ink than any typical alcohol marker. It's a free flow technology. So what that means is, for those of you who have been to boot camp, you know that I dissected a Copic marker in half, and you saw that it has a foam fill on the inside. Well, that foam fill holds ink. It doesn't let that ink out. If you've had your marker for a really long time, you probably noticed that even though you fill it up, it seems to run out of ink quicker. It's because it's drying up in there. It's changing the consistency. It's not allowing more ink to soak into that. So at some point you have to replace it. So with this, it's free flow. And what the company has done is sent me a prototype. So I am able to show you what this marker looks like inside the black cover or the white cover that you're going to have. And this is what we're looking at. So if you look closely, it is there's no cartridge on the inside. There's no foam on the inside that it soaks into. It is literally free flow. Okay? So how can this be a benefit? Well, once it's gone, and you know that it's time to replace the cartridge. Being that this is a prototype, this one's a little bit weak in the center because it was made a little bit differently than what it is in the manufacturer. But here's what we have. I'm going to go ahead and take off a lid. I'll take off the other lid. All right, so we've got 2 ends. I have 2 different colors. I have the connector piece, and I have the inside of what you will have as a lid. Notice that the inside, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it does have holes. Again, that's a safety cap. It has a nice snap, so it goes on very secure. Now I could sit here and I could color with just this, but you know how it's resting on my hand. That wouldn't be very comfortable. So I would most likely have a handle, or I would connect it to another piece. So once this runs out, it's not completely disposable. I'm going to get some tweezers here. Once this runs out, you just replace this cartridge, and you will take your nib and you will pull it out and then you will put the nib back into the new cartridge. So the nibs are reusable. This nib is very sturdy, but still allows you to have a really super fine flick, and it's very controllable. Okay, so I'm going to get some regular paper here. I had it somewhere. Here we go. This is the paper that I normally use with my other markers. We're going to have to level the RV. I can tell that my things are rolling. Okay, so here I've got regular paper that I would use with my other markers, and I can use the side of the pen to get a nice even coverage. I can go ahead and do the upright where I can get some nice fine flicks. I can do my dots in different thicknesses. I don't know if you can see this, but this is like super important. You know when you have your other markers and it starts getting really juicy at the tip, and all you can think of is, oh my God, it's going to sit there and blob? Well, this marker is constantly juicy like that with no blob. What that's doing is it's allowing that ink to free flow, but there's no pressure behind it to push it out. So this is juicy. It won't run out until, or it won't change until it actually runs out. Okay, so you can see that's a really nice fine flick. Beautiful, beautiful nibs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the cap on this one. Nice click, so you know it's not going to evaporate. Here's another color. Very, very nice, rich colors. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put the connector on there, and I'm going to attach these two. Makes it easier. Remember, this is the prototype, and you won't get something that's see-through. You're going to get something that's covered, but this is a nice way to kind of look at how it is made. Okay, so even though it's free flow, I'm still able to color nicely within the lines. It's the same exact principle as other markers that you might have used, I mean with alcohol and all that kind of stuff. But you can see, didn't go out of the lines even though the ink is free flow. Okay, so currently there are two Nib Styles, both the brush and the chisel. Okay, not to mean that that won't be expanded upon, but they wanted to get it into our hands right away. This is something that's been being worked on for, you know, over a year, and a lot of time and effort has been put into making this just right. The side of the marker is going to be marked with a label on what the color is, and the end cap of the marker is going to be imprinted with the color number. Okay, so this is your marker, your way. It's an innovative design that allows you to connect two different color cartridges within one OLO marker. Does anybody have any idea what OLO stands for? I'll let you guys do some guessing. So this is, there's some prices that I'm sure some of you guys are going to say, well, what's the price and all that kind of stuff. This price, I wrote this all down, see if we can get this on the screen. Let me see here. So when it first comes out in, currently you can't buy just an individual marker. You've got to get in on one of their deals. At some point they're going to put them out as individuals. and I believe that will be in July, but don't quote me on that. The double-sided markers are $6.99. The single side is going to be $3.80. The single chisel, I believe, is about $3.15, and the refill cartridge is $2.49. Okay. I have that written in my notes somewhere else as well. And let me pull those up. When you, Danielle, when you order everything for this one, they're giving you a double-sided marker. So if you go to olomarker.com/dove and check out their deal right now, you can get the full set or you can get smaller sets, but for this introductory price, they are giving you double-sided markers, and you're going to choose whether you want chisel or brush. So, for me, the company that has done this has been in the industry for over 20 years. Very honorable company. They stand behind their products, and I support them way beyond 100%. I also know that for me, I don't share products that I don't stand behind. So I want you to know that this is something that I stand behind all the way. This right here, the handles are going to be $1.99 for those of you who want to know. On their website, when you go to their website, olomarker.com/dove, it tells you that the cost of your usable ink per milliliter in a traditional marker, something similar to this, is $5.70 per milliliter. The cost of the usable ink within an OLO marker is $1.99 per milliliter. Okay, the cost of the usable ink in an OLO replacement cartridge is $1.38 per milliliter. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind, that this is going to be less than your comparable double-ended marker that other people put out there. Now, some of the negatives that I've found with other brands is that the ink doesn't flow fast enough, especially if you're doing a large area or a large background or something like that. Your ink is not flowing quick enough to refill that nib. Okay, so you're not going to have that issue here. I've also noticed with other brands that the caps are inconsistent and they're not clicking shut, so that they're drying out by the time you get around to using them. In the olden days, when I first started this way over 10 years ago, I was able to take a cap from one end, switch it around, and put it on the other end. Now some of the caps are only fitting on one end and not the other. I've found that the product itself has changed. And I've had my other markers for over 10 years, and I'm coming up with a lot of problems with a lot of them now. So I'm really excited that there is a new option out there, and that it is customizable, and that the price is a lot better than what we've been spending. So all the information, if you go to olomarker.com/dove, if you go there and click on the Discover tab, you're going to find the information that I've given you and a lot more. There's also videos to watch. If you want to know what I ordered, and I'm kind of going back and forth, but I ordered the brush instead of the brush chisel, even though I'd like the chisel for trying to see if I can airbrush with it, because that one tends to be, for replacing, is a little bit more expensive. So I figured let's go with brush, and then later on I can get chisels with the colors that I find that I'd use more. I think that's a good way to start for me personally. I've only changed my mind about 15 times. But the bottom line is I'm really super excited about this. I'm really excited about this wonderful new technology that hasn't been on the market before. I love that it is super, super juicy all the time, and that I don't have to worry about running out until I run out. I'm going to get very consistent coloring with it. If you see and look right here on this little guy, I did some blending with the little dots and stuff like that. So you can see that it works really well for that type of technique. Here you can see you can do hair and grass very easily because you have a really nice controllable fine line. It's constant flow, and that is absolutely amazing. And they're really comfortable to hold in your hand. For those of you who have the chow markers, the chows are a little bit smaller or more narrow around in circumference. This is a little bigger, but it's very comfortable. It fits in the hand really nicely. So I think that you guys are going to absolutely love this, and I'm super excited they gave me ones that I could show you so that you get in on that special deal that they have for a limited time while the supplies last. Once their pre-orders supply is no more, then we're going to have to jump over to buying the sets or the singles in July when they come in. So go check it out. olomarker.com. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for watching, and I'm excited about this, and I hope you are too. So give me a holler if you have any questions. You can ask at olomarker.com, or you can give me a holler and I will get you an answer or see if I can figure it out for you. All right, catch y'all on the flip side. See ya.